So how would I go about helping people to see straight in a backwards society? I'm just asking. Because we were all brought up that way, it's nobody's fault. But once you're able to see straight, it can be quite maddening. I'm trying to teach the importance of being centered and grounded, yet as a child, being grounded was considered a bad thing. It was punishment. And unless you became an electrician, your subconscious probably never replaced that negative definition with a positive one. It's going to associate with the definition that had the most emotional impact on you, especially as a child. This program is rated MA Mature. It is intended for mature audiences only, which in a backward society means that it's going to be loaded with immature content. Turn on Comedy Central sometime. If any of that programming, hint, hint, seems mature to you, you're backwards. It's those type of things that are targeting not only your subconscious, but your core beliefs. The beliefs that all your opinions and other beliefs are going to be built upon. And you see that this program is meant for mature audiences only. Oh, yes, yes, I am mature. This is for mature people. And you start to associate all the immaturity in the program with maturity. Do you get that? I mean, there are children who act more mature than many adults nowadays. Once you're centered and grounded, you'll begin seeing things as they really are. But until that time, you probably won't recognize them unless they're pointed out to you. And even then you may have trouble still seeing it, because it's become part of your core programming. I mean, honestly, how many of you have given thought to the rating of shows and its impact on your subconscious? And be honest, probably not many. But in order to be a magician, you need to start thinking like a magician. You'll begin to see how backwards the world really is. I'm always breaking things down into either their subconscious implications or their correspondences. Not that long ago it was cleaning supplies. Lemon-scented pine sol. Well, lemon corresponds with the sun, pine corresponds with Mars, both of which are used for purification and cleansing. And now you know why those are the two most popular cleaning supply scents. You start understanding things a whole lot more when you know the correspondences. So, anyway, I wanted to get back to the importance of finding your passion and picking a path and doing that just for the sake of doing it. And I know it sounds like the cliche every self-help book solution, but how many people are actually doing it? No, instead people try to find the quick fix or follow someone else's path. And you see this all the time where someone will gain all these followers like a cult. And you can't disagree with the leader because the leader says this must be true, so it must be true. Everyone from Alex Jones to L. Ron Hubbard. Go try debating a follower of Scientology and see what happens. See, when people perceive someone else as possessing the truth, whether or not it really is the truth doesn't matter. It's if they perceive it to be, they will then follow that person hoping to get at the truth that they think that person is in possession of. They basically just want it handed over to them. Here, my little follower, have some truth. Ho, 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 ho. But here's the thing. When you find your purpose, and you're doing that for the sake of just doing it, then you become the truth, the light, and the way. Oh. Yeah. And now people want to follow you. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't learn from other people, but never allow them to pull you off of your path to follow theirs, like a cultist. I can share with you the experiences and perspectives I have on my path, but your path is your own. And I'm not talking left or right hand paths here. I'm talking about your own individual purpose and path. Now, if I'm able to help you along your path, and, great. If you feel the need to thank me, that's cool. But don't praise me, because I'm not worthy. I'm simply not worthy. I'm just a human being, same as you. The only reason that I may have a better perspective of the occult and these things is simply I've devoted more time to it. I've had a lot more time. It's almost full time for me. And as such, I'm just merely trying to save you time in understanding these things. Now, some of you may be familiar with the concept of the holy guardian angel, the sphere of Taparith, and the higher self. And when you come into contact with that, it's going to tell you the same thing, for you to follow your passion and your purpose in life, in your own path. And the sooner you find your purpose and path, the better off you're going to be. Because around 42, when Saturn and Uranus swing around to oppose themselves natally, you're going to get a kick in the butt if you're not on your path. Now, this is the cause of the midlife crisis. Why do you think I'm all of a sudden compelled to do these videos? Almost every single planet in my chart has a correspondence to the occult and higher learning. 2 planets in Scorpio, 3 in Sagittarius. So as much as I'd like to spend all my time on the occult and studying and practicing, I have to begin teaching as well and passing on what I know, because that's just simply part of my path. I can't get around that. I've tried. Following your purpose and passion is really your own individual path to success, as long as it's for the service of others and not simply for the self. So doing it just for the sake of doing it eliminates those lust for results that we had talked about previously is the surest way to keep your magic from happening. And this is why a lot of times those who do achieve a high degree of success ends up being destroyed by their success, because now they're focused on the results instead of their passion to begin with. Guns N' Roses is a great example of this. Before success, I heard that they walked like 100 miles just to make a gig with very, very few people because they didn't want to disappoint their fans. After success, a fan takes a picture of Axl Rose and he flips out, walks off stage mid-concert and causes a riot. Why is it that Slash has enjoyed a very successful career after Guns N' Roses, while Axl Rose takes over a decade to make a single album and it's not even really that good? Musical taste subjective.
What is the single biggest offer you've had to put it all behind you and get back on a stage together?
Well, I've heard a lot of numbers.
What's the most ridiculous?
I've never been, handed a specific offer, but it's in the
7 figures, 8 figures.
I'd say it starts off with 7 figures, and then sometimes it starts to get, even more grandiose than that.
Is there any check that would tempt you?
I don't think it's a matter of that. It really isn't. I think you've got a situation where nobody involved wants to revisit. It's not just me. It's the whole, the whole band. And so I don't think there's a price tag that anybody's going to put in front of us that's going to make that work.
See, it's not about the money for him. It's not about the results. It's about the passion of playing music and doing what he loves to do that gets him the results. In this backward society, we've all been trained to focus on the results. And it's not about that. It's not about that at all. They get us to focus on what we want out of life instead of just focusing on life itself. Don't focus on the fruit, focus on the tree, and the fruit will naturally come. If you focus solely on the fruit and neglect the tree will surely die and the fruit will never come. Well, hopefully you began reading Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And all the links I give are relevant, even if you think they're not. R.S.D. Tyler's page, picking up women probably isn't your thing, or it may be, but you should watch his videos regardless, because it's going to show you how somebody on their path and purpose operates. It may not be your path, but you can learn a lot from somebody who is on their path. Birch Tree's Witch School page, really old school witch. I'm not Wiccan per se, but that doesn't mean I can't learn a lot from this guy. He's doing what he loves to do. He knows his correspondences, his specialty is brewing. In fact, I recommend that you get your oils and supplies from him if possible, because he takes these things into account. So you should watch his videos. He really knows his shit. Okay? But back to the book, Outwitting the Devil. Now, I don't know if Napoleon Hill actually had a conversation with quote-unquote the devil, but there were things in the book that really stood out to me. The most probably being when, quote-unquote, the devil told Napoleon Hill that he was the negative half of the atom. Now, this is deeper knowledge that should not have been in the book. Now, I want you to think of the implications of that. Okay? Because that would mean that duality is built into the very atomic structure of all things. And then you wonder why I focus and stress the importance of duality and polarity so much, like a broken record. And you hear, religious people saying, God is everywhere, God's in everything. Well, yeah, so is the darkness. And previously when I talked about how your environment can react to you, I want you to ponder that for a bit. But you really need to read the book, because we're going to be getting into a lot of that deeper stuff later. But don't freak out. Oh my God, there's knocks on the walls in response to my thoughts, and the environment's reacting to me. Oh shit. The deeper mysteries can literally drive you insane if you don't know how to handle them. So don't trip on it. Otherwise, you're just going to drive yourself nuts and won't be able to sleep. We will be covering all of that in due time. But for now, find your purpose and your path and simply focus on that. And I will see you next time. Take care.